Welcome back. It's Chris, and it is July 2nd. It is unreasonably hot and humid, but I decided to mow some hay on Monday and take a chance on it, and it should be dry today. It was doing pretty good yesterday, despite the humidity. And I was gonna put the 270 on the rake, but you know, with this heat already, it's only 10:30 and it's wicked. I'm not gonna go to that extra effort to switch it this time, but I did want to show you some new front skins. And while I was up there by the shop, I sprayed some of the Rust-Oleum rust removal gel on this side panel and this fender. And I wish I'd taken a before shot. How great that worked. I think I did 2 treatments on this fender and 2 treatments pretty much here. The stripes are a little darker here because of the proximity to the exhaust. But let's go to the other side so you can kind of compare to the untreated. We'll come around the other side. Untreated fender. The other side was worse. But look how much, I mean, you would have thought this was the same silver as the fenders. The side panel, so I don't know, oxidized, faded, and it should be, you know, same color, I think. Yeah. But it's wow, it just really cleaned that up. I am impressed. I was wondering how it would work on the silver. Yeah, once again, back over here, look how much darker that is. I was getting down to the metal in some of these spots, so stop treating. There's some rust on it. Some of the rust is far enough that the paint just couldn't hold on anymore. Yeah, you get up here, it's just so much better than it was. Now I need to go over it with some buffing compound and wax it, see how it really looks. But one of these days. In the meantime, let's hop on the 1800. All right, old girl. Gotta do something about the solenoid on this one. I better put some fuel in it too. It's always something. It'll run out before you get to the E. I've made that mistake before. There's that 270. Now if you want to see what a weak, tired hydraulic pump gets you, let's move that 3-point hitch lever up. Oh look, this is just, you know, just started, so the oil ain't, well, it's probably 80 something because it hasn't gotten below that in a few days. But I have to rev it up just to lift the 3-point. A little more. Definitely a tired pump. It gets the job done for what I'm doing with it, but someday I just need to bite the bullet and put a pump in it. Well, we're out here in the field now. And if you watched Monday's short where I mowed with Herman, today is Thursday. I showed how many deer are feasting on my corn because they're keeping the ground worked right up. Well, let's walk out in here. It's starting to roll. I mean, between the sand and the heat, it's just defending itself, but still, pretty sure this is the same spot. And this corn that was kind of midway up my chest is now even with my nose. It probably grew a foot since Monday. Despite the sandy ground and the heat. I'm sure it's growing after dark. Don't know if you can see, there's a spot next to the little knob that is very sandy, and it's amazing it's got what it's got on it now. Usually it doesn't produce anything type of thing. So, you know, the steady rains have been good here. Yes. Saw a big buck out here a couple days ago, still in velvet, but he's gonna have a good sized rack on him. I also wanted to show off my new hat. Something to protect my gourd from the sun. If you saw me at the show, you're probably like, yeah, that guy's got a big melon on top of his shoulders. And well, let's see, Saturday we did an impromptu meet and greet with that Oliver guy to help promote the HPOCA. I just basically stood at the HPOCA booth and hopefully, you know, sign some people up for the club and help it grow. And I gotta say, I was blown away by the turnout. There was a line. I did not expect that at all. Got to talk to a lot of great people. One of the early ones, and I feel really bad about this, there were so many people, I just can't remember all the names. But a gentleman come up and he handed me an envelope and he says, "This is for Mrs. Oliver Guy." And it wrote right on it, sealed up envelope, said Mrs. Oliver Guy. I'm like, okay, so I put it in my pocket. He says, "Tell her to use that to get you a hat because you need to protect yourself from the sun." And I'm like, okay, you know, that's very nice. And still didn't know what was in there, and I wasn't going to open it because it was marked Mrs. Oliver Guy. So pretty clever on your part, viewer, because if you'd handed me money, I would have said, no, I ain't taking your money. And if he put my name on it, I probably would have opened it and said, hey, I'm not taking your money. But by putting Mrs. Oliver Guy's name on it, that kept me from opening it until later on when we were out walking around and someone said Mrs. Oliver Guy. I'm like, oh, that reminds me, I have this in my pocket. And she opened it up and there was we'll call an undisclosed amount of money. And so she promptly got online and took her a little shopping to find something that would fit my big old gourd. But she did, and we had to get home and measure it first just to make sure. And it's already, I gotta say, it makes a difference keeping that sun off my neck and face and stuff. So thank you, viewer. I am so sorry I did not keep your name straight. Like I said, there was just so many people and I was just blown away by the turnout. They put it on, Jamie got on the speaker and made a big deal out of it. And I figured, you know, some people would come over, but nothing like what I had. So thank you everybody for coming over. It was great to meet so many people, and I probably will do it again in a future show. Maybe we'll make more of an announcement ahead of time, but we signed up 5 people in that hour for the HPOCA. A lot of people were already members, so, you know, can't sign them up twice. I guess we could, but so thank you for those 5 people that join and help the club grow. They'll get the magazine 6 times a year, and it's if you get Oliver Heritage, it's in the off months from that. So if you do both magazines, you get one every month. And the great thing about the HPOCA is that's who puts on those shows. That's who, it's members that volunteer and do a lot of work, and without that club there probably wouldn't be these shows. There'd be local shows, but there wouldn't be a national Oliver show in the summer. So, you know, please consider joining the HPOCA. I'll put a link down in the description, maybe right here on the screen too. But enough of me yapping. Mrs. Oliver Guy took the GoPro and recorded some of the parade, or pretty much all of it. So hopefully we got something useful out of that. I flew the drone. I'll throw some of that together and put it in here for your viewing pleasure. There may be some music for some of you music haters, but the drone does not record audio.
Next up we have a Oliver Heritage tractor, and yes, that is the correct color paint. Those were built in the 70s, and when you bought those Heritage tractors at your dealership, they gave you an American flag. So how fitting for the 250th anniversary of the country. And I believe it's hauling the restoration team that did the work on Sherry's tractor. So job well done. Give them a round of applause. Next up we have an 1850 gas. And we have a 2255 that's got the Caterpillar engine in it. I actually was at the banquet when the lead product engineer spoke, John Rex. He had his hand involved with that. And Bill Martinson was also involved with the company. And Bill was here at the show, so you have to look him up. There's a 550 Oliver. This one's a later one with the 8-crate drill, we call it. And those are an awful handy utility tractor that did a lot of things with a 3-point hitch. Next we have a 77. This is an earlier one. It's got the frame gas there along the frame. Then it has band brakes. Those came out in 1940, late 40s, 48 and 9. And that's probably around a 1950 model. Next we have a narrow front. This is a, what do we have here? Is it a 1655? Looks like it. Those are, if you're having acres, that's kind of like the best tractor ever right there. It can do about everything. Next up is an 88 with the raised stripe along the frame there too. That's an early fleet line. Notice the decal. It says road rough 88, not all of road rough. It's got the adjustable white front, and it has the yellow hood stripe there. That's an early one when they have the yellow both top and bottom of the engine like that. So, very nicely restored. Next up, we got a cock shut. Is it a 570 or a 670? My eyeballs are kind of tough, but those are kind of a pretty tractor with the red frame and the cream side panels and hood wheel. Here we have a Spirit of Oliver. These are a tribute to Oliver that was done by way back in the day. They're heavily sought after now. They did them in the red, yellow, silver, and also the yellow for Moline. But they're hard to find, and that basically is the 145 workhorse is adorned in Oliver green. Thanks for bringing it. Next up we have a 77, I believe, and a Oliver subsoiler. That was used for breaking up the hard inroads and stuff you had compaction back in the 50s. And they made them both hydraulic and manual. That one doesn't look like it's hydraulic, it's got the hand brake and the floor. Next up, Super 77. Yeah, this has the red wheels. Early ones were green wheels, and they later went to the red wheel. And very, very beautiful restoration job done on that one. And a handy, useful tractor on any farm. Okay, now we have a 66 adjustable wide front. This one's got the hydraulic option. A lot of 66s have mechanical lift. The adjustable wide fronts are kind of sought after and tougher to find than the narrow front. The 66 was built from 49 to 54, and this one I think has a disc brake, so that's a later model one. Alright, next we have a Oliver 60, and this is Patrick's tractor, and I know a little bit about this. He bought it from a gentleman that used to plant corn with this Ram tool, and that is an amazing unit right there. A lot of 60s were equipped with 2-row mounted planters. You can find one with 4-row. That's kind of unusual. And that's in its original workflows, and looks to be well taken care of. Just a beautiful survivor. So get out and look at, study that one up. You don't see many of those. Next up we have a 660 cock shut. I believe there are 15 of these built. You talk about rare. And this one's been restored. It was bought from a fella that had it in Nebraska. And it's got a beautiful home now. Scott Mitchell has this tractor. And certainly very, very amazing to see that at this show. You put a lot of miles on a pickup to see that tractor. Next up, we have an Oliver 60, narrow front. Looks like that has the delete. There's no power lift on it, which was one way they came. Got the earlier seat before the Boss Strong came out. Nicely restored. Here we have a cock shut, possibly a 40. Looks like we got a year-old coming driver there. He's checking out. Checking out what's going on. Okay, then we got an 1800. This one's got the spear on there, so with the 1800s they made the stored. Here we have a Massey Ferguson, 180. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, here we have a Mark Muller, 2850. That predates Oliver. These were produced in Charles City, Iowa. And that's where your word tractor comes from, North Farm. due to the war and other things. But he's got a Plowmaster 100 plow with the rolling landside. And he's also got the mounted cultivator, so you can go cultivate your corn and be ready to plow in the fall. Very nice. Okay, here we have another loader you don't go see every day. I'm not terribly familiar with those, but thanks for bringing it out. That's an unusual one that's not very common. Okay, let's see if we got an Allen, what, 440? Another cable drive. Sounds good too. Alright, well, I see a better truck I could probably get it right there to go to your ramble on, but thanks for coming out and praying, and thanks for all the support.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and hope you see you in the next one. And once again, thank you everybody that visited with me and took the time to stand in line. Larry Widner, who come in and made a spectacle of himself, saying, "Oh my God, it's Chris Losey." That was pretty funny. And I've known Larry for a long time now, and he wouldn't let a good moment like that slip by. So I'm pretty sure I turned a couple shades of red and fumbled a little bit. It was a good time. So thanks again.